What up, what up, what up, and welcome back to Pinoy News. Man, listen, the pension crisis is back in the news. And yo, look, you know what I'm saying? This is where we make our money at. You know what I'm saying? This is where we make our meat and potatoes. This is how we handle our business. This is what we do. This is what, you know what I'm saying, this channel is based off of. These are the type of things that I bring y'all that nobody else will bring you. All right? Let's have a basic synopsis of how we got here. All right, for all y'all newbies who ain't been listening, ain't checking out the old content, I'll break this down for you. All right, so here's the situation. The United States, all right, has stood here and been on autopilot since the 1950s and 60s. All right, basically what they did is after World War II, the rest of the world was bombed out. Okay, and we became the global superpower by default. I know like USSR was there or whatever. Fuck them. They were communists, so they weren't even really competing in the free market. So if anybody wanted stuff, right, to like say rebuild Europe or Japan or China or Africa or India or any of the other many places that got bombed the fuck out during the goddamn war, they came to us and we sold it to them, all right? And they paid through their noses for it. And the United States had massive jobs and unions, and we had set up what's known as the pension system, okay? Now, the pension system is a way of paying an individual in the future rather than paying them right now. It's a kind of way of fucking over the labor market, all right? Because they're saying, hey, man, look, you know what I'm saying? If you give me a hamburger today, I'll gladly pay you tomorrow. But the problem is that this doesn't work, all right? The situation never worked because, you know, who knows you're going to be around to collect that hamburger, number one. And number two, all right, the other half of the problem is that these hamburgers that you're collecting, and I'm saying, might not really be worth shit back in the later future because hamburgers get moldy, all right? And the dollar becomes less valuable. And so in the 1950s and 60s, we put it on autopilot, all right, and let motherfucker should be what it is. They're like, hey, man, look, we're good. Everything's cool. All right, they had all these teachers and police officers and firefighters and, you know, state workers and building inspectors, all the people to make your life difficult. You know what I'm saying? All the individuals who fuck up your world. Sure, the firefighters, like firefighters, they're cool. You know what I mean? Other than that, fuck the rest of them motherfuckers. Every last one of them can all fucking jump off a bridge as far as I'm concerned. I don't like police, and I don't like motherfucking teachers, and I don't like fucking state workers. I don't like fucking social workers. All these fucking people, as far as I'm concerned, are unnecessary and a burden to our goddamn nation. So all these people get to collect a pension. And with the advent of feminism and the advent of abortion and the advent of divorce and the advent of divorce rape and the advent of us printing money into fucking oblivion because, well, we let women vote, right? We have stood here and created a massive problem. Because after the 1970s, the United States went from being, in the 1986 actually was a year, went from being the number one creditor nation to the number one debtor nation, all right? Overnight, in 1986. And when we did so, we ended up putting ourselves in a position where we would eventually have to pay the piper. Well, that time has come, all right? Because we promised all this money that we couldn't pay for. And we promised a whole bunch of goodies that, you know, I mean, there was no way we were ever going to deliver on. Like, legit, there was no fucking way in the world we were ever going to deliver on any of these promises to anybody. So, now, with this coronavirus had happened, you know what I'm saying? It was going to happen in like 5 or 6 years. They've sped the process up quite a bit, you know what I'm saying, by stopping production and tax payments and things of this nature because individuals ain't got no fucking money. Now things have come to a head. And states are screaming for bailouts because they have to. And we're going to break it down and show you what's going on. And what the federal government's saying, the new bill with Nancy Pelosi, this $3 trillion, $4 trillion, whatever it is, fucking behemoth, monster, abomination, actually addresses some of this shit. And it should. And I mean, I'll be honest with you, it should. But I'm going to show you why it shouldn't as well. So let's fucking show you what's going on. All right. So forget federal aid. Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky has suggested states file for bankruptcy to combat economic downturn caused by the coronavirus pandemic. High unemployment numbers and a lag in cash flow have beleaguered states coping with a rise in COVID-19 cases and deaths amid a nationwide shutdown. Congress already passed one stimulus package with a $2 trillion price tag, but McConnell said he isn't opposed by the attempt of the federal government to rescue states' finances, Business Insider reported. All right, I would certainly be in favor of allowing states to use the bankruptcy route, the U.S. state majority leader said Wednesday on the Hewitt radio show. Bloomberg reported it saved some city and there's no good reason for it not to be available. Well, that's fucking dumb. All right, legit, that's fucking stupid. All right, and I'm gonna explain why that's dumb. All right, so if states had to file for bankruptcy protection, they would use what's known as Chapter 9. All right. And Chapter 9 is a bankruptcy proceeding that provides financially distressed municipalities for protection from creditors by creating a plan between the municipality and its creditors to resolve the outstanding debt. Municipalities, as defined for Chapter 9 bankruptcy proceedings, includes a wide variety of governmental entities such as cities, towns, counties, townships, municipal utilities, taxing districts, and school districts. It's nearly impossible for creditors to force liquidation of a municipality's assets. Chapter 9 significantly differs from other bankruptcy chapters in that there is no provision in the law for liquidation of the assets of the municipality and distribution of its proceeds to the creditors. A municipality is defined by its state and under jurisdiction. The 10th Amendment to the United States Constitution states that any powers not defined in the Constitution are reserved for the state, which has the sovereignty over its internal affairs. Bankruptcy proceedings are part of the U.S. Bankruptcy courts, which are under federal jurisdiction. Therefore, the federal courts cannot force a municipality to liquidate. In effect, the bankruptcy court generally is not as active in managing a municipal bankruptcy as it is a corporate reorganization under Chapter 11. The role of bankruptcy court in Chapter 9 proceedings are limited and focus on approving a plan of debt reduction and overseeing the execution of the plan. Only municipalities may file for Chapter 9 bankruptcy. 4 other eligibility requirements for Chapter 9 is set forth in Section 109. It must be specifically authorized to file Chapter 9 under state law. Municipality must be insolvent. Municipality must desire and effect a plan to adjust its debts, and the municipality must obtain agreement with the majority of certain types of debt creditors. If no agreement, have evidence that an attempt to negotiate in good faith was made or be impractical to negotiate or obtain an agreement with creditors. Before a municipality can file for Chapter 9, it must have made an effort to negotiate with creditors. The intent of Chapter 9 is to negotiate repayment between the municipality and its creditors, which can include reducing the principal or interest on the outstanding debt, extending the term and lifetime of the loan, and reforming the debt by obtaining a new loan. The whole process can last from a few months to a few years, depending on the complexity of the case. So, now, that is Chapter 9 bankruptcy, in which states would have to file. Now, when it talks about creditors, right, who's it actually talking about, right? Well, it's talking about us, right? Legit, that's who it's talking about. It's talking about me and you and everybody the fuck else, right? Who are gonna stand here and have to act, or the individuals who are gonna actually get paid. All right, you're talking about people who are collecting a pension, individuals who are collecting unemployment, people who are collecting state Medicaid, individuals who are collecting WIC, people who are getting welfare. That's who the state owes money to, the state workers themselves for their payment of their paychecks. So the state technically doesn't own. There's only $3.8 billion of state budget municipal debts. Right? So with $3.8 billion, you know what I'm saying, in municipal bonds out in the market right now, that's nothing compared to the trillions, right, that are needed to take care of this problem. All right, this is from Illinois. All right, Illinois, the Executive Government Manager, Governor's Office of Management and Budget. The Governor's Office of Management and Budget released at February 19, 2020, a fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2020 general funds revenue forecast with the governor's budget proposals. These forecasts were based on economic conditions and fiscal year-to-date revenue available as early as February. However, due to the impact of COVID-19, the economic outlook of the state of Illinois for fiscal year 2021 has shifted significantly, meriting in a revised revenue projection for the remainder of fiscal year 2020 and fiscal year 2021. While the length and potential impact of the unprecedented emergency response remains unclear, economists have begun to project that the likely impact of the economy and in turn the revenue collections that support the operations of state governments Oh shit, I lost my place. Right. Yeah. Utilizing the recent data forecasts available from IHS Market GOMB, Department of Revenue currently estimate that fiscal year 2020 general fund state source revenues be approximately will be $2.7 billion below the February estimate of $36.9 billion, partially offset by the expected additional federal revenues and additional interfund borrowing processed by the Office of the Comptroller. Fiscal year 2021 general funds state source estimates are being revised $4.6 billion down from the estimated state source revenue base revenue estimate of $38.5 billion. The revenue shortfall combined with additional fiscal year 2020 borrowing has created a budgetary gap when compared to fiscal year 2021 spending plan outlined by the governor in February. Because the budget for fiscal year 2021 will be impacted by whether the graduated income tax structure, blah, 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 there are two scenarios for the budget gap. The budget gap is approximately $6.2 billion. If the graduated income tax structure in PA 101008 does not go into effect, the estimated budget gap is approximately $7.4 billion. So in other words, Illinois owes $7.4 billion that it doesn't have. And there's a problem with that, right? There's a major fucking problem with that. And the biggest one of those problems is states can't print money. Like, yo, the states can't do what the federal government does. They can't just print their own fucking money. So how does a state pay a debt that it doesn't have? I mean, it can issue municipal bonds, but that has to be approved of by everybody, right? This makes things rather difficult. So what do? You know what I'm saying? Legit, what do you do? I don't know. Like, so if you go Mitch McConnell's route and tell them motherfuckers declare bankruptcy, right? And what they do is they say, well, we can't pay your pensions, we can't pay your paycheck, we can't pay shit. The problem is that all of a sudden then your local municipalities will be screaming for money because individuals won't be able to pay their taxes. Right? Because most of the people collecting pensions are retired individuals living, you know what I'm saying, in the house that they own. And if they're not going to get their pensions, they can't pay their mortgages, they can't pay their fucking rents, they can't pay taxes. And if they can't pay the taxes, the local municipality is going to scream for more money. And Illinois is going to go, we don't got no money for you. Declare bankruptcy. And then they're going to declare bankruptcy, right? And they're going to go, well, y'all motherfuckers collecting pensions from me, you ain't got no fucking money either. And it's a monster problem. Like, legit. They can sell bonds, but they're garbage. They're worthless. They're already junk. So what do? Let the system collapse? Because that's what needs to happen. All right, we were talking about this earlier. You said, yo, the system needs to collapse. And I mean, like, the whole thing needs to fucking collapse and be built back up. Right, like, legit. And see, here's the thing, right? A lot of people talking about they were planning on this and like, yo, there's, oh my god, like, yo, y'all conspiracy theorists came out the fucking woodwork here recently. I don't know where the fuck it came from, but legit, I feel like y'all motherfuckers have, like, y'all were like the motherfuckers who saw Mama kissing Santa under the Christmas tree and shit. You know what I mean? Like, y'all motherfuckers is over here thinking, like, you know, y'all are upset that the Tooth Fairy didn't leave you your fucking change under your pillow and shit. Tooth Fairy never existed. Santa's not a real person. That's your daddy, homie. Or your mom's boyfriend. One of the two. But either way it goes, welcome to the real world. Like, yo, your state officials are dumber than you are. They're not planning this. Your politicians are stupider than you. These aren't people who are above you, no matter how they act. No matter how they pretend to be. No matter how all these movie stars pretend to be smarter than you. Legit. All of us on the internet are digging their motherfucking ass like that in a fucking heartbeat. It ain't that difficult. Every time one of us goes out into the real world, we crush these motherfuckers. That's how it always works. Understand something. You are as smart as anybody who's ever fucking lived. We're smart monkeys. Stop standing here thinking that you're not. Stop standing here thinking this is some big plot, because basically what you're doing is you're reaching for God right now. You're looking for Jesus. Let me tell you the truth here, bruh. Jesus ain't real. None of that, all that shit is bullshit. All of it's nonsense. There ain't no fucking plan. These motherfuckers legit have just been asleep at the wheel. Everybody's been busy watching the Kardashians. Why the fuck else would Congress hold hearings on whether to use fucking steroids in baseball? Because these motherfuckers are baseball fans. You don't understand because, like, yo, you still under the understanding that these motherfuckers is above you, and they're not. So I just wanted to read you fucking one more thing, right? So the basic difficulty of the pension program is that institutions must be sustained over far longer than the political planning horizon. Shifting demographics are causing a lower worker of ratios per retiree. Contributing factors include retirees living longer, increased relative number of retirees, and lower birth rates, decreasing relative numbers of workers, especially relative to the post-World War II baby boom. An international comparison of pension institution by countries is important to solve the pension crisis problem. There is significant debate regarding the magnitude and importance of this problem as well as the solutions. Now, there's another paragraph I want you to hear real quick, right? Some economists question our ability to address the problem by saving now. Storing funds by government in the forms of fiat currency is the functional equivalent of storing a collection of their own IOUs. Since the government is responsible for printing the currency, the act of printing now, saving it, and then releasing it into circulation later is economically equivalent to simply printing it later. This suggests that hoarding cash by the government today to address the later crisis is a non-solution. I'm gonna let that sink into your motherfucking heads there a minute. You know what I'm saying? Play this again a couple of times so you understand what I just fucking told you. Alright? Basically what they're saying is we can print money whenever the fuck we want. The fuck we need to save for. Only losers fucking save money. Tom Peace, Pinoy News. You know the deal. Peace.